Hello, everybody. This is Nick DeTiro, Professor of Information Systems and Computer Science. I'm recording this from an undisclosed location. Uh, Hold on one second.
Hello, everybody. This is Nick Tero, Professor of Information Technologies and Computer Science, Lakeland Community College. I'm having a little fun. I think sometimes we have to have a little levity in some of these situations. Over the past couple of weeks, I've been getting emails and phone calls from students and other faculty members basically asking, What is going on? Nick, can you explain what's going on?" Well, before I do that, I have to say, I have no inside information about what's going on, and even if I did, I would not convey it. That is not my privilege or my right to do that, and there's other factors associated with that. So, the examples I'm going to give now in this short little video about kind of what's happening, I'm going to speak in a lot of generalities. Right? Nothing really specific about Lakeland, except I'll be going to a Lakeland web page or two to just kind of highlight some things. Let me go up to my screen. All right. Many have probably seen this uh, graphic before in one way, shape, or form, trying to explain what the internet is. Real quickly, we have the surface web up here. That's what we can get to. That's what, if you were to go to Google and you were to look for a Google search for something, this is stuff that is readily available. That makes up maybe 5-10% of the entire internet. The vast majority of the internet now is down here in what is referred to as the deep web. This is not the bad place that people think it is. This is the place that you need some kind of access to get into. So if you're going into your email, you're going into your company server, and you have to provide some kind of credentials, your medical records, anything like that, are located down here in this what they call the deep web part of the internet. Now, down here, the dark web is not necessarily the place for criminals and pedophiles and sharing that type of information. Actually, the original premise of the dark web was the Department of Defense and to share military secrets. A good portion of the dark web was developed by I think it was the Office of Naval Intelligence, but the U.S. Navy. The to use the dark web, you do need special software. The one that comes to mind for most people is called Tor, or the Tor browser. And one of the sole purposes of the dark web is to not completely hide, that is almost impossible, but to grant a level of anonymity where it's hard to trace where stuff is coming from. Yes, it is often used in criminal activities. If you go back and you do an internet search on the Silk Road, it was a location for the for bad activities and stuff like that. But a good portion of the dark web is used for positive activities. Again, the it's still being funded and researched by the Department of Defense. So, I want to talk about these two areas. Not going to worry about the dark web here. We're going to talk about these two areas. Now, the surface web, again, that is if you were to go to Google and do a search, those are things that are readily available. Sometimes you might hear it called the public side of the network, or you might hear it be called the lighted side of the network. But it's the things that we can easily get to. And again, the deep web is the area in which you have to log into. You have to provide some kind of credentials. So you're basically using the internet as a conduit or as a connection between your computer at home and maybe your company at work. Now, over the past few weeks, Lakeland's had some cyber incidences, and again, I'm not going to go into any details about them. I don't have details about them, and it would not be prudent if I did have details about them. But if we just use a general knowledge base, usually when we're dealing with some kind of compromise, some kind of ransomware, something along that lines where somebody has compromised your system, it's down here inside the deep web. Somewhere along the way, we call them attack vectors. Somebody was able to breach the security. Somebody was able to get around the security features, and there's different methods and stuff like that. It's not like they just walked in. A lot of these attacks, or most of these attacks, are extremely sophisticated, but those particular attacks, those can get really nasty. Something like a ransomware attack, where a bad actor gets into a system, they start encrypting the material, or they start stealing your material. And the big ones now is they encrypt your stuff, and then they ask for a ransom, saying, we'll give you the encryption code so you can unencrypt your stuff for X amount of money. And then there's a balancing act. It's not an easy thing to say that, oh, just ignore them or pay them. It's not that easy. There's a lot of determinations based upon that premise. So I'm not going to get into what is better and what is worse. It's like anything else. A ransom situation, a lot of factors have to be weighed. So that kind of explains, this intrusion, these ransomwares, these compromises. They're happening down here at this deep web. Now, most organizations, unfortunately and fortunately, Lakeland is a good organization in this. They were able to, through a lot of work, a lot of congratulations, and a lot of kudos to our IT staff. They literally, and I'm using that word correctly, they literally worked around the clock to clean up this portion, this deep web area. What is kind of being experiencing now is a distributed denial of service attack. What the bad actors are doing is they are flooding the public web server. The lidded web server, the web server that's on top here. And imagine if I guess the best analogy I can think of is everybody going to the drive-through window exactly at noon at McDonald's. It's crowded, it's overwhelmed, things slow down. And that is what a denial of service attack does. They basically take and they flood the surface web. They flood the website with garbage traffic, and there's many variations associated of what that garbage traffic would be. And if you're interested in that, little plug here, I would love to see you in any one of my cybersecurity courses and programs and things like that. And we do some deep dives into the different methods and the different techniques. Now, with a distributed denial of service attack, we have these things called, sometimes you'll hear them called botnets, sometimes you hear them called zombies. But we have these devices that do the flooding, that do the sending of requests. Now, imagine you have a situation with a single denial of service attack where one computer is trying to flood another computer. That can easily be thwarted because the victim, the target, can readily identify that one device and say, I'm just going to ignore that one device. Again, I'm talking in generalities here. But with a distributed denial of service attack, what is happening is we're not getting one device, we're not getting two devices, we're getting sometimes hundreds of thousands of these bots, these zombies, these compromised devices over there on the internet that are making all these requests all at once. So, again, using the analogy of the drive through window at a fast food place, we're not getting one car that is ordering 200 hamburgers. We're getting 200 cars ordering one fry. It just becomes impractical for the restaurant to deal with it. It becomes impractical for the website. Now, what will often happen in organizations is that they know this surface web is just getting hammered, and it goes down, it goes up, they bring it down, get up, and there's a lot of factors involved with it going up and down. So what a lot of organizations have chosen to do is they will often provide an alternative method to connect into the deep web. Now, remember, the surface web here provides you methods that you can then go into the deep web. So if you were to go to www.lakelandcc.edu, That's the surface web. That's the lidded web. But you'll see windows there say, you'll see links there say, take me to my Lakeland. And then what those do is they take you down to here. Then there's things called, single logins and things like that. But they basically are links from the surface web down to the deep web. What a lot of organizations will do is it's a common practice that we know the deep web is being protected. We've cleaned that up pretty well, and but the surface web is just getting inundated with network traffic. So what the organizations do is they provide an alternative method to get down here. And if I go to the Lakeland website that's currently up and running, I see this thing that we have all grown accustomed to. But let's say let's say it doesn't happen as frequently as been happening. And we can get this under control. You see something like this. Okay? This is the alternative to this. And basically, what the alternative is it is direct links down to that deep portion of the websites. So if I needed to go to Blackboard, instead of going through the portal of my Lakeland, initially just logging in one time through my Lakeland, I would go directly to, where's Blackboard? Right here. Click on that and it takes me to Blackboard. And now I have to log in directly into the Blackboard server. Um, just for clarification's sake, so vocabulary means something. These are not back doors. These are just alternative links into other areas. I'll repeat that. These are not back doors. They have all the security and all the availability that you saw before, but it's just an alternative link to the particular devices. So let's go back to the screen here. Vast majority of the internet's here. Anytime you have to log into something, then you're going into this deep web. The initial contact points are usually the surface webs. And when these surface webs go down, sites go down, the organizations will provide an alternative method to get into here. Now, the bad news is this is annoying. Those distributed denial of service attacks, they're annoying. And again, our IT department and IT departments that are dealing with them, many thanks to them that they're dealing with them. But you still have access to this stuff here. Most of the time, you will still have access to this stuff here by going through those alternative links. There's an old curse. May you live in interesting times. Well, we're living in interesting times. We're living in times where almost our very existence is reliant upon this technology. And the moment, and that's a good thing. And the moment that something positive is created and becomes part of our who we are, that could also be used for bad. I've talked to my students many times about this. I can take a butter knife, and a butter knife is a wonderful utility that I can use. It's a wonderful tool that I can use. I can spread, my butter and peanut butter and jam onto bread, and it's a wonderful device. But somewhere along the line, somebody can take that butter knife and use it to do bad things. So this video is really somewhat dedicated to the IT department because again, they have just done an outstanding job, but they're overwhelmed too. They're not just our web server is getting overwhelmed, but our IT department is going overwhelmed. So you may struggle getting to the website, but with those alternative links, you can definitely fulfill what you need to accomplish down here at the deep web. I always end all my videos with, now let's go out and learn something.